Hello and welcome. Today we will be going over Numpy slicing. Starting off with one-dimensional indexing. This is the exact same as standard Python lists. So you start out with an array, x is the 0th index, brings you the first value, third index, fourth value. So it's index starting at 0. On to slicing multiple items. This is still the exact same syntax as Python. Starting with an array, we go from the start index to the finish index. The first index is inclusive, meaning it'll include the item at that index. The finished index is exclusive, meaning we will not include it. On to the first example. So when we're looking at array A, we're going from the first index to the third index, but not including the third index value. So in this case, it'll be 0, 1, 2. In the next example, we have A from 1 onward. When you do not specify the finish index, it assumes you want to go to the end of the array. So in this case, we're going from the first index to the end of the array, which means we're going from 1 to 5. Now for this one, it looks a little weird because you're not specifying either a start index or a finish index. When you specify neither, it assumes you go from the start to the end of the array, including all elements. This will be more useful later. Now on to negative indices. So negative indices start at -1 and count backwards. So if you want to look at element -1, that is the last element in the array, which in this case is 5. You also can do slicing of multiple items with negative indices. In this case, you're doing from the second to last element to the end. So this will bring us 4 and 5. You can also do it with the second one. So from the start to -1. This is probably the most useful one if you want to do everything but the last element. Now on to two-dimensional arrays. This is similar to Python, it's to some extent, but adds more. Now on to two-dimensional arrays. This is quite similar to Python, but adds some cool new features. This is the syntax for the Numpy implementation. So we have the array, index, row start index, row end index. So this is the same as what we had before. Now for the two-dimensional part, we have a second one. So there's a comma separating them, and then call start index, call end index. Here's our example array. And then if you want to compare this to standard Python, we want to say access the 0th row and first column for this 1 value. We could use this syntax, and that gives us 1. Or in Numpy, using the syntax up here, we can use 0, 1, and that returns the same value. And then when you are slicing using one index, will give you an entire row. So in this case, the 0th row is 0, 1, 2, 3. Same goes for multiple items. So we're now slicing the first and second row, not including the 2 because the second one is exclusive. That covers simple Numpy array slicing. What if we want to do more complex stuff? Say I take the top left 4, bottom right 4, center 4. That's where we can use more advanced combinations of the slicing methods. So using both the row and the column. In normal Python, you need to write a double for loop in order to iterate through the rows, and then the columns only look at the first 2 columns. So for loop for the rows, for loop for the columns, aggregating them into a temporary column, and then eventually adding it to the list. That takes a while, and we can do it much more efficiently. So we have the array B, it's defined up here. We're looking at the rows first, and we're saying we want to look at all rows, and then only the first 2 columns. So this actually turns the exact same values, so 0, 1, 4, 5, and so on. Now on to problem 1. Given a 2D Numpy array A with a shape 4, 4, using one slice, retrieve the center 4 items. So here's an example. We have a 4-dimensional array, 4 rows, 4 columns. And we want to select the center of 4, so in this case 5, 6, 9, 10. Here's an example output. Try this problem yourself and I'll go over the answer. Now that you've given this problem a shot, we're going to go over the answer. So I split this into 3 parts to try to give a better understanding of what's actually happening here. So rows, columns, answer. So first, we want to access the second and third row. So using A, 1, 3. That's the simple slice we went over earlier. Now for columns, it's the more advanced Numpy slicing. So 1, so colon, 1, 3. So we're accessing all rows, but only the second and third column. Now if we combine these, this is the answer. It looks at the rows and the columns and returns the center 4 elements as shown here. Here's our one test case and it works. So now onto the bonus problem. This is a little more complex. Same pattern as before, just a little more elements. So given a 4-dimensional Numpy array of the shape 4, 4, 4, 4, using one slice, retrieve the center 2 by 2 by 2 items. So this is code to actually create the. Go try to solve this. I'll have my Python notebook in the description. Go check it out to get the answer. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.